What is up, everybody? Today is Monday, July 1st, the first day of the month, and we took two trades today. One was a loser that got stopped out. The second one was a winner, but I unfortunately took it out right here at break even just because I thought this action was just not good. And it's funny how after I got out of break even, it ended up hitting my take profit. So I ended up with a loss today. But regardless, my second trade would have made my loss from the first one. It was a nice 1 to 1.78 risk to reward. This is a 1 to 1.82 that it was before. Actually, this one was higher because I was targeting the London highs on both. So it was a 1 to 2.27. But regardless, as you can see, I came in with a bullish bias this morning. Now, the reason why I came in bullish was if we look at the 4-hour chart, I still believe that we are going to continue on up into this draw and liquidity up here at 2371.50. And the reason why I believe that was because we had this sell side curve here, and then we ended up creating a high, a low, a higher high, and I believed this was going to be a lower low. So in the morning, I marked out this low right here. We're sitting in this 4-hour fair value gap that has held us once, twice, and this would be the third time that it's holding us up. This low, I marked it out because I wrote low needs to close below for bearishness, right? And what I was looking for was on the 4-hour chart. If we ended up getting a close below this low right here, that would be considered a market structure shift. And then I would want to see that bearish PD arrays like fair value gaps and all that would start to get respected. But if we look, we see that we did not get that close below. And so I was expecting us not to do that, which was kind of a rookie mistake to do that so early on, mainly because if we look overnight for Asia session, we accumulated, according to quarterly theory, this is accumulation. We manipulated up above the Asia highs. So we needed to go for sell side liquidity first to complete the distribution of this manipulation right there. And as you can see, we ended up getting a drop in the morning. The reason why I went long within the second quarter here of this sub cycle or this micro cycle, we had this accumulation here from 9 until 9:23, and then here we manipulated down below that low. Now the only problem was it did not take out a significant level of sell side like I usually play. So that is this sell side level right there. That was that low from London, and it was also relative equal lows to the previous session right there. And I ended up taking this inverse fair value gap. I said that if this one gets inversed on the 1-minute chart, I'm going to enter. I entered, I put my stop at this low, and immediately I got stopped out. So I took a step back, and I knew we had news at 10 o'clock. So I wanted to see if that news was going to get us a close above that level. And we also ended up taking out liquidity right here at this level. Here is that low that I had marked out. Here is the fair value gap too. And as you can see, by 10 o'clock, we ended up closing right above that level. So that was not a market structure shift. It looked more like a liquidity grab to me. So I just waited patiently. I wanted to see, we obviously inversed this fair value gap right here. We had a fair value gap right there, but I did not feel confident because of the big drop. I wanted to see more structure form. So I'm glad that I waited. And then we saw this low right here get taken out, and we got bought right back up. We ended up just kind of chopping around for a lot of the morning. We had a big drop and then a big move on up. I was taking a look at this 1-minute fair value gap that got inverted, and I was saying that if this fair value gap holds us up, or this inverse fair value gap holds us up, and we end up getting a market structure shift up, specifically on this quarter right here, specifically here, I wanted to see a move on down and then a distribution on up, because this was another micro cycle. So this was more accumulation. Here I marked out a liquidity grab because we manipulated below on the beginning of Q2. We manipulated below, took out that low, and then we shot on up, and I just waited patiently, and I wanted to see a market structure shift on up, which was this high right here. We had that market structure shift up. Here is a fair value gap. I decided to mark it in on that as soon as we got that market structure shift because I was expecting a pretty big move on up. I put my low at this low right here, or my stop at this low right here from the market structure shift is pretty, you know, I usually do swing lows, but I was pretty confident that this was going to go up, and I'll explain why as well in a bit. So got tapped in. This price action here was not making me feel confident. I decided to take out my my position right here, right above break even. So that sucked because as soon as it dropped like that, I sold, and then it just got bought back up and it ran right to our take profit. So why was I expecting a move on up specifically around 10:30? Why did I wait for 10:30? Well, because I take into account quarterly theory a lot. So if we look here, this was a nice trend move on up. Typically, this is supposed to be accumulation, but we didn't get that. We ended up getting a move on up, which I believed to end up being the X cycle from the previous move. And this was accumulation. And then this was manipulation down. So what was I looking for? I was looking for longs in Q4 because this would end up being a X, A, M, D on up. And then for the day, accumulation, manipulation, distribution, reversal. And that's exactly what we got for today. This was a beautiful move. I ended up getting a little emotional with my first loss. I was a little pissed off. And I also, you know, nobody's immune to that. We're all human. So I decided to just take it at break even and walk away. I'm glad that I sized appropriately on the first one, so the loss wasn't terrible. It's very easy to make it back tomorrow, God willing. And so, yeah, I took it off at break even, and I said, you know what, I'm not touching these charts anymore because I'm not in the right headspace. So I'm glad that I did that because that further solidifies my discipline. And on top of that, you know, I was right. I saw it in real time. Granted, I sold it out, but regardless, this also builds my confidence in my analysis consistently. So you can't be upset about days like this where you do things like this. I only took 2 trades. You know how many people I know got chopped up in this middle price action? Don't trade that. If you're not, like, wait for your rules. If you have an edge, stick to those rules. And it was very hard for me not to take something here. I really wanted to take this inverse fair value gap, but I told myself, no, I'm going to wait until, you know, Q2. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Then I walk away with the red that I have. And I should have held on, right? But I know better for tomorrow now. But regardless, it was a beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. Beautiful 2 trades. And yeah, just gotta stick to what you know, and you gotta put the puzzle pieces together of what your edge is, right? I use basically the 2022 model, and I also use quarterly theory, and I use market structure for higher time frame bias. So I use all of those things in conjunction, and when they piece together so well, like a very good put together puzzle, I hold with confidence. Today, the first trade that I took, you know, took away that confidence a little bit, and that's okay. I was also rushed. I didn't get to really spend time at the chart this morning before in pre-market. I came at it after market open, and that kind of obviously didn't help. I had some pressure at work that I need to get something done. So all these things, right? I'm not beating myself up for it. I understand. I get it. And so it's all good. It's all good. So we live to trade another day, and we will be back at it tomorrow. So I believe the market's open tomorrow. It's a short week. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, but Wednesday is a short day, and I believe Thursday is also a short day, but Friday will be a normal day. So we will see what tomorrow brings, guys. All right, peace.